Yo, what's good, basketball heads? It's your boy Crush. Let's talk about Stephen A. Smith calling Kawhi Leonard one of the worst superstars in NBA history. Understandably so. I'm not going to call Kawhi the worst superstar in NBA history. But what's happening currently is very sad, man. It's a sad situation. They load managed the entire season. So Kawhi's been load managing all season, all year long. And they finally got to the postseason where you expected he's going to play most games. Everybody expected Kawhi Leonard is going to play the majority of the games. And he's already missed 2 games. So he played game 1, he played game 2, and he missed game 3 and 4, which the Clippers lost basically. So now the Clippers are on the brink of extinction. If they lose game 5 in Phoenix, it's over. And this is a sad situation, man. 4 seasons of disappointment. 4 seasons of disappointment. So I could understand what Stephen A. Smith is saying or what he's getting at. So now Russell Westbrook have to take on the load of Kawhi Leonard and Paul George because Paul George is currently injured. Kawhi Leonard haven't played the last 2 games. So now Russell Westbrook is out here hell-bent trying to be the number 1 option. And at this stage in his career, we all know Russell Westbrook is a number 3 option. Not a number 2, not a number 1. But he's trying. And it's respectable. Last night's game, Russell Westbrook came out like an MVP. This man came out hell-bent trying to save the season because Kawhi Leonard is unavailable to play. We have no reason why. And Kawhi don't play unless he's 100%. If it's one thing you know about Kawhi Leonard, unless he's 100%, he's not going to play. That's just the way he's wired. A player like Kobe or MJ, they'll go out there 60%, even 50%. So with no Kawhi Leonard, no Paul George, Russell Westbrook is out here trying to drag this team through the playoff against a stacked Phoenix Suns with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton. We know the Suns are top heavy. Their bench is garbage, but who need a bench when you have 3 Hall of Famers on one team in the starting lineup? Imagine if Phoenix had a deep bench on top of what they already have. It would be insane. In last night's game, Russell Westbrook dropped 38 points. Insane numbers, insane stats. Played at an MVP level, trying to get this win to keep the Clippers in the playoff. And what more can you ask for? But at this stage, Russell Westbrook is a 3rd option, not a 1st option, not a 2nd option. But once again, Kawhi Leonard hasn't played since game 2. And Paul George, we know he's injured. So the Clippers are basically left for dead. So all that load managing they've been doing all year with Kawhi and with PG at times, all that load managing trying to preserve these dudes, it was all for nothing. Because now when it mattered the most, Kawhi is still injured and Paul George been injured. So all this load managing, we got to protect the players. And, I understand Kawhi has bad knees. I get it. But what's the point if you're going to load manage only to load manage in the playoff? So currently speaking, it's just Russell Westbrook going up against a 3-headed monster team. And there's no way the Clippers are going to survive versus the Phoenix Suns. It's basically over. You can expect game 5 to be the last game of the season. It's over. Everybody knows it's over. Whether you're a Suns fan, whether you're a Clipper fan, you know it's over. They just don't have enough because they need Kawhi Leonard. And if you've seen game 1, as you can see in game 1, the Clippers are a better team. They're deeper. They might not have PG, but they're a better team. Once Kawhi went down, it's over. Once he went down and he wasn't available, we all knew it was over. And that shows you how great Kawhi Leonard is as a player. Kawhi's availability alone is insane. Kawhi being available makes all the difference in the world. We're talking about 30-plus points, great defense, and he will guard Kevin Durant when he needs to. In the crunch, when he has to lock in, he will guard KD. So Kawhi not being available, man, is the worst blow to the entire Clippers, to the series, to the NBA, to all the fans. Like, who don't want to see Kawhi Everybody wanted to see Kawhi and Kevin Durant go at it for 6 or 7 games. Unfortunately, we only got that for 2 games, and that's it. So the Clippers season is over, and Stephen A's pissed off. I'm pissed off. All the NBA fans are pissed off, rightfully so. So Stephen A. Smith said, Kawhi Leonard should be on the list of one of the worst superstars this game has ever seen. And you know why he said that, right? Because he chose Kawhi Leonard to beat Kevin Durant in the playoff. In this series, Stephen A. Smith picked Kawhi Leonard. Understandably so. And game 1 was proof, at least somewhat, that was proof that Kawhi Leonard can and would beat Kevin Durant in the series, but he's no longer available. So he's on the bench, sitting, watching Russell Westbrook trying to save the season. And we all know Russ played amazing last night's game or yesterday's game. No argument, but it still wasn't enough. On top of that, they had too many careless turnovers. Yesterday's game was a game the Clippers should have won, could have won, but they turned the ball over so many times. If you don't take care of the ball versus Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Chris Paul, you're going to lose. You have zero margin for error, if any. Against a team like this, without Kawhi and PG, you can't have too many mistakes. And the Clippers kept on turning the ball over, making mistakes on defense, bad laps, and they got crushed in the end because they could only maintain for 3 quarters. The Clippers will hold on and play well for 3 quarters, maybe into the 4th. They always crumble down the stretch because they need their closers and they're not available. So I know why Stephen A. Smith is mad and everybody's pissed off, man. Like, it's just a sad situation. And this is proof load managing doesn't guarantee you anything because they load managed the entire year, the entire season. Kawhi missed a bunch of games. PG also missed his share of games, and in the end, the Clippers are still going to go out in the first round. And Russell Westbrook, for another season, is without a championship or without a chance to compete for a ring. And it's sad, man. I like Kawhi Leonard, but I got to keep it real. After this season, they need to just blow it all up. He's injury prone. He's a great player. He just can't stay healthy, or his knees won't allow him to. And Paul George is also injury prone. So your 2 superstars is always hurt. They're unreliable. So if you're going to rest your hat on Kawhi Leonard being healthy next season, you got to be a fool. Only a fool would rest their hat on Kawhi Leonard staying healthy another season. If this season is not revelation after all the load managing, if the Clippers go into next season with Kawhi Leonard again, something is wrong. I really like Kawhi Leonard, but we just got to face reality. His body and his knees won't allow him to be great. And that's just what it is. Stephen A. Smith also had this to say. Because nobody that watches basketball knows I'm obviously not talking about his skills. We know the brother is big time. We know that as a talent, he's a superstar. He is that dude. But when you talk about a superstar that is unreliable, I want somebody that's pointing me out somebody more flagrant than him. And I would agree. He is very unreliable, whether to his fault or not. He is very unreliable. I was so excited about this postseason. Kevin Durant versus Kawhi Leonard. I was very excited for this series. Everybody was hyped for this series. The Clippers versus the Suns. And on top of that, Ty Lue could have ducked the Suns if he wanted to, but he chose not to. So they chose this matchup. We're going to face the Suns, it's whatever, which I thought was pretty sick. That was dope. Like, let's go, man. It doesn't matter who is in front of you. Go out and ball. But Kawhi Leonard is unavailable. He can't go. So now Russell Westbrook, Norman Powell, and the others are trying to save the season, which they can't. Phoenix Suns have too much firepower. So you can't beat this team making a lot of mistakes and errors. You can't. And that's the situation. The Clippers played well in game 3 and 4, but down the stretch when it mattered the most, they can't sustain. because they need their closers and they're not available. And it's sad, man. This is one of the saddest situations in postseason history, at least to me personally. This is one of the most saddest situations. In the bubble in 2020, that was the Clippers' best chance to win. They didn't take things as seriously as they needed to. They underestimated Denver and lost that series. You cannot tell me that the Clippers wouldn't have beat the Lakers in 2020. I know I'm going back and I'm reminiscing, but it's sad, man, because I wanted to see that matchup. We all did. It never came to fruition. Here we are in 2023, and it's more disappointment. Want to see KD go against Kawhi and PG? That ain't going to happen. If you are a Clipper fan, you got to be heartbroken, because this is sad, man. Every year there's something. It's usually Kawhi is not available. Paul George is not available. There's always something. And every season, the others have to carry the load. It used to be Lou Williams, Patrick Beverley, and the others. Now it's another cast, but it's always the same story, the same ending. And it's sad, man. So if I'm Steve Ballmer, you know what? After this season, I'm blowing it up. I'm being real with you. You can't keep resting your hat on Kawhi and PG. They're unreliable, more so Kawhi. He's not reliable. We know how great he is. He's great, but he's never available when you need him. How can you win a championship when the best player on the team is not available? I mean, regular players and stars don't win championships. Superstars win championships. Even if you have a star, you need a superstar to be able to compete. So you have Russell Westbrook, who was once a superstar, not a superstar anymore, a star at best, trying to save the season, and it's just not enough. As great as he played last night, which was masterful, still not enough. And it's more disappointment. And I understand what Stephen A. Smith is saying, because it is just disappointing. I mean, and let's be real. I mean, Stephen A. Smith's anger is justified. He did pick Kawhi to beat Kevin Durant. He did. In this series, he did. And I'm sure there's a lot of angry fans and people out there. Because after game one, I said to myself, this is a better team. Kawhi guarded Kevin Durant, still dropped almost 40 on his head, and they got the dub. And I was like, man, game three was a revelation for me. With no Kawhi, the Clippers almost pulled it off. That game was a revelation when I said, you know what, this team is a better team. And they are. They just don't have their superstars to take them over the hump. So I don't know what they're going to do next season, man, but this is one of the most disappointing seasons in Clipper history. All that load managing, resting, missing games. For what? This is the results. Kawhi can't go after game two. You only get Kawhi for 2 games in the postseason? That is sad, man. But as always, I holla. As always, we just talking basketball. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, share, holla at your boy.
It's all about the game and how you play it. It's all about the game. I'ma say it. It's all about the game.